Hi everyone. In this video we see some of the questions which have been asked in TRB 2017 in electron devices and circuit subject. The first question is the efficiency of a full wave rectifier. It's a well-known direct question. We know that the efficiency of a full wave rectifier is 81.2%. So option A is the right answer. For half wave rectifier it is 45.6. So for half wave rectifier the option B is the answer, but here they asked a full wave rectifier, so option A is correct. Next question, the trivalent impurity is. It's also a direct question. We know that the trivalent impurities are boron, gallium, aluminium and indium. These are all the trivalent impurities. So from the answer we can understand the option D is the right answer. Similarly, the pentavalent impurities are phosphorus, arsenic and antimony. So these are all pentavalent impurities. Next question, the process of adding impurities to a pure semiconductor is known as, it is also a direct question, it is doping. So the option B is the right answer. Next one, the transistor in saturation when. We know that we are having three sets of transistor operating region based on emitter based junction and a collector based junction biasing. So I write this emitter base, collector base. If transistor in active region, then both emitter base is forward bias, collector base is reverse bias. If transistor in cutoff, both the regions are reverse bias. If transistor in saturation, both the regions are forward bias. So from the option given here, the transistor in saturation, then both collector and emitter junctions are forward bias. So option A is the right answer. Next one, the JFET is called square law device. We know that JFET is a square law device because the transconductance curve is parabolic. So it will be like here, it will go, and here in this region it follows square law, right? So it is a square law device because it is having a equation ID is equal to IDSS into 1 minus VGS by VP 1 minus VGS by VP whole square. So output ID is the square of the input, so it is a square law device. If you draw the curve, it will become a parabolic. So it is a parabolic, that's why it is called a square law device. Next one, enhancement MOSFET IDS on is equal to 10 milliamps, VDS equal to minus 12 volt, the VDS threshold is minus 3 volt, the value of ID when VGS is equal to minus 6 volt. So these are all the data given, right? So we know that in MOSFET ID is equal to K into VGS minus VGS threshold square. This is the formula for ID. But here they didn't give VGS. I think it must be VGS only. So please change this into VGS. The question may be wrong or wrongly typed. So VGS is equal to minus 12 volt and VGS threshold is equal to minus 3 volt. And these are all the data given here. So substitute VGS equal to minus 12 volt and VGS threshold is equal to minus 3 volt. ID on is given by 10 milliampere. So from this we find K, then from the remaining value, if VGS is equal to minus 6 volt, we find what is our ID. So let me substitute. ID on is 10, that is equal to K VGS is nothing but minus 12. VGS or threshold is minus 3, right? If you simplify this, what you get is 10 is equal to 81K. This implies K is equal to 10 by 81, that is equal to 0.12 milliampere. So now we got K. What we have to find now? Now we have to find for VGS of minus 6 volt and VGS threshold of minus 3 volt, what is our ID? So ID is equal to K is 0.12 milliampere into VGS of minus 6 volt and VGS threshold is already given, it is minus 3 volt. So if you simplify this, what you get is 1.08 milliampere. So my ID is 1.08 milliampere. So option B is a correct answer. So what they have given, they have given VGS and VGS threshold and ID on. From this we find K first. From K and VGS threshold and VGS, we find what is our new ID. That's what the question is. Now the question is, the astable multivibrator has a base resistor of 20 kilo ohm and a capacitor of 100 picofarad. What is the frequency of output? We know that for a stable multivibrator, F is equal to 1 by 1.38 RC, 1 by 1.38 into R. R is what? R is 20 kilo ohm, C is 100 picofarad. R is 20 kilo ohm, 20K and 100 picofarad. If you simplify this, what you get is 362 kilohertz. So the answer is 362 kilohertz. So option A is the right answer. Next one, a silicon diode has a bulk resistance of 2 ohm and a forward current of 12 milliampere. What is the actual forward voltage across the diode? We know that the voltage across diode is given by V is equal to 0.6 plus IF or B in terms of bulk resistance. So forward current is 0.2 12 milliamps, 12 into 10 power minus 3, and the bulk resistance is 2 ohm. If you simplify this, what you get is 0.624 volt. So option D is the right answer. And the next question is, a diode has a maximum power dissipation of 5 watts, sorry 0.5 watts. What is the maximum DC current allowed in the forward direction when the forward voltage drop is 1 volt? What is the breakdown current that burns out the diode if the breakdown voltage is 150 volt? Okay, so here what they have given, they have given maximum power dissipation PD max is equal to 0.5 watts. Sorry, it's not coming properly. So PD 0.5 watts. What they ask is forward current, maximum forward current. We have to relate PD with forward current. So PD is equal to VF into IF. So PD is 0.5. VF, what is VF value they have given? For a maximum forward voltage of 1 volt. So VF is 1 volt. This implies IF is 0.5 ampere. So IF is 0.5 ampere. 0.5 ampere is available only in option A. So option A is a correct answer. Okay, anyway, we will find what is the answer for second one and check whether it is 3.33 milliampere or not. The second one is what is the breakdown current that burns out the diode if the breakdown voltage is 150 volt. So next one, we write PD max in terms of breakdown voltage. It is equal to VBR into IR. We know that PD is 0.5 and breakdown voltage is 150, and IR we have to find the current that burns out the diode. So this implies IR is equal to 0.5 divided by 150, that will be equal to 3.33 milliampere. So option A is the right answer, right? So from the option first part itself we found option A is correct. In exam we don't need to do, anyway we check and we proved that option A is perfectly correct, right? So I hope you understand all the problems very clearly. If you are having any doubt, ask in comment section. Thank you.